Hello everyone, welcome to New Creative Tutorials. Today we have a new Stardust tutorial in our series and I will show you how to quickly and easily create 2D and 3D audio visualizer in Adobe After Effects using Stardust. So create your composition and let's get started. So after you create your composition, I have here in my comp audio file. You can use any audio you want. Just drag it here and I have a Stardust already applied to this layer and I have audio, a word here, just a text that we're going to use in Stardust and also going to use this audio. So first we need to convert this audio to keyframes. So keyframe assistant and convert audio to keyframes. And it's going to give us here audio. So just delete the left and right channels. And just make sure you leave the audio there because we are going to need it to see how things sound. So on Stardust now, jump to emitter and on type, change it to text and mask. And then go to layer properties to choose the text we create audio. And actually don't see anything yet because we need to zero out the speed and the size, so you just barely see that there's the particles trying to create the audio here. And first let's change the emitting to once, and on text mask emit type, which is on path properties on emitter, let's change it to edge weighted so we have something look like this. Nothing happened, just emit once and stay there. So on emitter node everything is set up. So on particle let's change the shape to rectangle and let's give a life to 50 seconds just because we have a long comp here. And size of the particles, let's give them 4 for X and Y. So you don't see that much here because we need to change the path subdivide, which is on emitter here. We want to give it 10 so they are not really, see what happened when it's getting close to 0. It's just getting more pixels or more particles. So just put that at 10. And so we're going to have this look. And let's back to particle and change the color. So we want to choose color over path. And you may think you would change the color here, but you can, but it's not what we want to. And that's because the way the gradient applied here is not what we want, and you will see why. Let's turn that back to black and white. And so for now, we are going to apply a replica node and connect that, and on replica let's give maybe 20 replicates and let's create a new camera to see, new camera to see what's happening here. Hit C and we have nothing yet applied or changed. So on a replica, even if you change the replicates, nothing happened. So we need to offset those replicates. So we want to offset on Z. So look what happened when we offset the Z. Okay, first let's change that color. So along path properties on replica node, we are going to change this color. So we are going to choose one from the presets, color 01, and hit apply. and nothing changed yet because we need to change the color mix path to 0 so you can see it. Okay, so for the color now it's set up. Let's back to our offset Z, and so what we want here, we want this offset Z axis to be reacting with the music. Okay, so hold Alt and click on stopwatch of the Z, and it's going to create expression for us, and actually now it happened. So let's open this audio amplitude, hit U to reveal the slider, the audio keyframes we create first, and hit AE on Stardust just to reveal this Z expression we create, and pick whip the Z to the slider of the audio amplitude, and let's preview this and see what we have. So as you see, the offset is working. It's changing. It's offsetting our particles or replicates with the music or the audio. So, but we need to do a lot to make it look nice than this. Okay, so if you see here, there's some problems. First, when the audio here, let's see, there's here the amplitude of the audio. You can see here how what's the slider tell us, or you can just see here how much is this is going to offset. It's offsetting it 27, and the minimum is here. I think the minimum is around 3, I believe. So on your audio will be different than mine. You just can tell that my minimum is around 5 or 4. So in your audio, you will just see what is the minimum and the maximum amplitude. And as you see, the 40 goes, there's more gaps here between the replicates. So actually, there's a way to fix that, to just get more density, and we can even crank that up to get this look if we want, but we want to create an equalizer look, so we want to keep the maybe dots or circle, not circle, square looks here. So just give it for now 300, and actually on replicates, the more it creates more replicate, it just go deeper on C. Okay, so let's leave this just on 20 for now, and what we want first to do is changing this expression here. We don't want the same exact numbers that derived from the audio amplitude. So just remove this and go to interpolation and linear. So we have here T and T min and T max and value 1 and value 2. So what is this? This where the T is, we are going to pick whip that to the slider. So what property here, that wherever its value, which is the T min and T max, we are going to remap that to new values. So that's why we were looking at what is the mean and the max amplitude for these audio keyframes. So in my case, I have around 3 or 4, so I just put there 4, and the T max, which is the maximum amplitude, is around 30. So I want to change them to, so when it's the minimum, I want that to be at 2, and when it's a maximum, I want that to be at, well, maybe 20. or maybe here 5 instead. So you will see what's happening here, okay? If we turn the expression, enable it on and off, you'll see what's happened. So we have something like this for now. But well, we actually want they are on same same distance for all. I mean, they are same size. Okay, the replicates. We want that variation on the look as any equalizer that we know. So on replica, let's go to random properties and replica random, just change that and look what's happening there. So it started giving us that random look. So as you see here, but we have so many actually things we need to fix to make it look even better. We just, as you see, we have the red here and the green are already applied, and you may like this look of the color how it's applied, or maybe you want that change so when it's actually the audio hits a certain number, then the red start showing up. So the idea here is changing the gradient as the amplitude change. So when it is high number, the red show up, and when it is normal, the green show up. And the second problem is you will notice that those randoms we just created, they are not changing. They are still, and just the depth that it's changed, we want those also to change with the audio. So we're going to copy this expression and do the same on replicate number and paste it there and see what's happening. We'll see things changed here. So let's disable it and see what's going on. So what we want to do actually, just changing or remap those values. So we are going to remap that to 50, that's the minimum, and 90, that's the maximum. And you will see it's changed better than how it is, and it's actually also it's going to be animated. Let's disable this C offset, and so now we have those this replicates number change. So now we have two parameters changed together with the audio. That's for now is good. And we can actually do the same thing for the replicates as well. So copy and on replicates, copy that and just change this replicate to the maximum of 10 and the minimum to 2, and I will tell you why this. So the idea behind this is to have a few replicates when we have a lower amplitude and have more replicates when we have a higher amplitude. And so that's it changed the look of the equalizer that we're creating here. So it's depend on what you really want and how you want things to looks like. Let's go back to Stardust, and here on replicate we can always change the density and make it more. And let's go to emitter and see the subdivision here. You can see if we put the subdivision to something closer to the 0, we can get more definition there if that's what you want. For my example here, just leave it maybe 6. So on replica here, well, we have set up our replicates and the offset C with expressions. I just want the emitter to be around 10 or 15. Oh well, we'll just leave it at 6. And on replica, maybe less density. So it's up to what you want. Do you see how many looks we can just create by changing the density here? So I would just leave it around 200 there. And so what we want now, if you notice when this change, you would see that the color or the gradient here, it's actually the same. It doesn't change, like the green doesn't go more, and it's the same, just like scaling that gradient. And I actually don't want that. I want when there is a higher amplitude, then the rates show up. And how to do that on replica, let's go back to along path properties, and there's here offset. So if we just change the offset here, we see what's happened. We're getting offsetting that gradient. Okay, so what's happened? So look, when we offset this, the color change, and that's what we want. We wanted this to be animated. So the same thing, just hit Alt and click on stopwatch and copy our linear expression here, and let's remap this. The remap of the maximum and values are changed depends on each parameters here we have. So like there is no like minimum or max value for the offset here. We can go really lower 0 and very high. So in my case here, I want that to be the maximum of 5 and minus 50. So in your case, it may be different. So here you would see that actually it's changing, and look, the rate is going to show up when we have a really high amplitude. And you would see here, like here 24, and when it is even here's 30. Okay, you see, we see more red here, and that's what we actually want here. And you can actually do something here on particle. Let's enable the shadow and see what it's going to give us. You see this nice look. The word is even more nice looking. We can change the transform mode to add or screen, and maybe the opacity for shadow just 20, and you see what's going on here. Let's preview this and see. So as you see here, we have a very nice equalizer look, and well, we can give it more density and make it looking different and all those cool stuff. So for this, let's turn it back to 30. So the same concepts we use here, we use it with other the other ones. So actually, I'm just going to break down this for you. So here, instead of text, let's see this one first. That's the easier one. So here, instead of text, we just use a mask. I just have here a mask applied to this layer, and the same properties. Look what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to copy this mask and paste it here, And let's duplicate this stardust, turn off the visibility of the other one, and here, going back to the emitter, leave everything as it is and just change the layer properties to mask. And so here's the mask. Okay, just which one here? Okay, here we need, okay, that's the second one. Here's the stardust. So here actually need to be here in the latest version. You can choose the stardust layer here. So for us, it changed. Let's turn off the camera. So our mask, the new one, is have on C. It have the replica replicating on C. Let's turn the disable that, and here's the C. Okay, and put 0 and give the Y instead. And as you see here, a new shape of equalizer with the same settings. So I'm just going to copy the Z parameters here, X expression, and apply it to Y. Copy there. Let's turn off the Z. Actually, it's going to be down, so we are going to multiply this with maybe 0, 5, minus 5. So we have this look. Maybe we can change the size here of our particle and go back to emitter and change the path subdivisions here. And so there you go. Maybe we can change the maximum here value to maybe 50. So we have more, that's too much, just 30. And so you get the idea for this. So the same was for this one. We just, here it was on, here actually was on the Z, was on, well, where's replica? Okay, here it stay on Y, okay, and we just go to the particle and or emitter, and on size emitter. Okay, this is, we need this one. Okay, this one. And on size Z was 0, so we just give it more depth on Z, and it give us that look as you see here. And it was, we offset those replicate on the Z, so everything else the same as we saw in this tutorial, just tweaking things and getting new looks. And for this audio circle, as you see here, I have a mask circle, just a mask, okay? And on Stardust, we use that mask and the same properties here, 0, everything is 0 out here, more subdivide or less, depend on what you're looking for. And on replica, we just offsetting all that on here, we see on the Z, okay? And make sure that your emitter here, if you change the origin, you would get this look. So make sure that your origin stay the same as where the mask you can even have this kind of equalizer if you want to. And here I have this one. So this one the same. I have here a mask, a circle mask, and everything is the same except that on replica we changed, we give it some offset on, on both the Z and let's open this expression. So on Z here, if we offset this, you will see what you're going to get with more density, and everything else is the same. You can actually change the size here at the end, or the opacity, whatever you want to create a nice look. So the same replica here, everything is the same, just tweaking parameters there, and you see what you get. So this was the tutorial of today, and stay tuned for more visualization tutorials in Stardust coming soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next week. Thank you for watching.